Speech off.
Another little story of mine, actually recorded on the same day, I would like to call If You Are Not Filled with Him. There cannot be a vacuum. We know from nature, at least that's what I was taught in physics, that there is never any vacuum. Never. There's always something. If something moves away, it's going to be replaced with something else. And it's even in space, they say, there is no vacuum. At least that's what I was taught. Even there, if you look carefully, you find tiny, tiny particles. So it's the same with ourselves, with our hearts. If we are not filled with God, something else will take his place. And that is important for us to know, those ones who believe that they are walking with God. First of all, if you believe you are a Christian, or you're walking with God, you have to ask yourself the question, have you ever felt his presence? If you haven't, and I have met people who say, oh yeah, they've been baptized and they go to church and they just believe that Jesus loved them and God. Now think about it. If you're supposed to have invited Christ into your heart, God, and you do not feel anything, then nothing has happened. If I go along the road and I bump into somebody, there's somebody else there and I bumped into him, I made contact. If I have an empty stomach and I fill it with food or with water, something is filling that space. Does it make sense? And that is the same with God. If you haven't felt him and you just think you are walking with him, trust me, you're not. And when you have felt his presence, again, those ones who haven't, I suggest you sit down and pray that you feel his presence, because you actually can. And it's very important that you admit it. I have a friend and she told me that she's a Christian. I haven't spoken to her for many years. And she said, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, da, 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 da. And I said, well, what does it feel like to walk in his presence? And she suddenly said, I don't know, actually, I've never felt his presence. I feel like I'm praying to a wall. I said, well, then you haven't, and it's good to admit it, because in many churches, people don't admit it. They just say they have and they walk with him, but they don't actually say, well, actually, I've never felt his presence. They just go along with the idea. So I said to her, pray that you feel his presence. And she did, and her life changed. Because if it's not God that is with you, it's something else. And when you have felt his presence, and you have touched him and allowed him to come near you, it is important to keep that relationship going, to keep that contact going, to keep that transformation and filling going and staying full going. Because I've experienced, for many reasons, because I was busy moving house and blah, 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 neglected maybe, praying a little bit or talking to God or thanking him for what I have a bit, but was moaning and groaning and blah. I wasn't really filled with him. And then people offered me, oh, do you want to go here with me, there with me? Do you want to go do this, do that? And so it's like distraction settled in. And I would even say darkness. I won't describe everything that happened. But because I was not filled with God, I was not filled my time with his presence, filled my time with him, filled myself with him, I was filled with something else, with the dark side. And that's what's going to happen. Do not just think you are with God or you believe in God and leave it there at rest. You have to always make sure that you fill with him. You are filled with him in his presence. And you spend time with him. And do not let anything else take place. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out or do things, but always make sure you come back to God. Don't think, I'll do it tomorrow, do it the day after, and yeah, I like going out with my friends, and I'm a good Christian, and I like to go to prayer groups and this and that, and actually you're going drinking and clubbing or whatever. If you're not spending time with him, people will notice that. The dark side will notice that, and it will distract you, and it will know that you're deceiving yourself. And I'm saying this because I had a phase like that now, and I like to share this with you guys. So, yeah, if it happened to you, you're not the only ones. I'm not the only one. And the reason why I make many little videos, I don't know if I've said it before, is because I think just remembering that sentence of the little video or the image, I hope it helps you to remember that lesson, or not lesson, well, you know, remember that lesson, remember the idea, remember the possibly shared experience in one form or another.
Speech on.